Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Most of the time students have asked me this particular question that सर क्या inference based questions जो होते हैं क्या ये legal में पूछते हैं inference based questions। अब inference based questions क्या होता है कि there would be no situation per se, आपको किसी तरह का कोई situation नहीं देगा, सीधे आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि आप critical reasoning का पैसेज सॉल्व कर रहे हैं। तो 2022 के पेपर में ये पैसेज नंबर 20 आपको दिखाई देगा, एक उसी तरीके का पैसेज है जहाँ पे सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स के ऊपर बात की गई है। इस सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स को इन्होंने आपके कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के फंडामेंटल राइट्स से रिलेट किया है और फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज़ और फंडामेंटल राइट्स के ऊपर बेसिक से क्वेश्चंस पूछे हैं। अब जैसे कि अगर आपको कोई बोले कि हम मैंने हमेशा आपसे ये कहा है कि वो लोग कहते हैं कोई बोले तो बोलते हैं कि आपको लीगल का आइडिया होना चाहिए और क्लार्क का सिलेबस साफ साफ कहता है कि प्रायर नॉलेज नहीं होनी चाहिए, प्रायर अंडरस्टैंडिंग तो ज़रूरी होनी चाहिए। क्योंकि देखिए फंडामेंटल राइट्स एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो ऐसा नहीं है कि पहली बार आपने कोई क्लार्क के पेपर में देखी है। फंडामेंटल राइट्स तो आप बहुत पहले से सुनते हुए आ रहे हैं। तो ये वाला एक पैसेज है, इसको हम सॉल्व करेंगे। आप अपना टाइमर ऑन कर लीजिए और हमारा टारगेट ये रहता है कि हम किसी भी पैसेज को 5 मिनट के अंदर क्रैक करेंगे। ठीक है, तो पहले 5 मिनट के अंदर मैं पैसेज को सॉल्व करूंगा। चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा क्योंकि यहाँ पे आपको सारे पास्ट पेपर्स के जितने भी क्वेश्चंस हैं क्लाट के, आपको उसका एक्सप्लेनेशन यहाँ पे काफ़ी हद तक मिल जाएगा। और काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन जो होती है वो ऑलरेडी मैं शेयर करता रहता हूँ यहाँ पे। तो आप ज़रा सबसे पहले एक काम करिए, अभी टाइमर ऑन करिए और मेरे साथ साथ इसको रीड करने की कोशिश करिए। The United Nations Commission on Environment and Development defines sustainable development as sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development clearly postulates an anthropocentric bias. Least concern. What is anthropocentric bias? Anthropocentric, the moment the word comes, we will replace in our head with human centric, right? Least concerned with the rights of other species which live on this earth. Anthropocentrism is always human interest focused, thinking that considers non-humans as having only instrumental value to humans. Instrumental value to humans. In other words, humans take precedence and human responsibilities towards non-human are based on benefits to human. Take precedence means takes importance. So human is more important than non-human in anthropocentrism. Ecocentrism is nature-centered, where humans are part of nature and non-humans have intrinsic. Non-humans also have some value. That is ecocentrism. So this particular fact is important. In other words, humans' interest does not take automatic precedence, and humans have obligations towards non-humans independently of human interest. That is ecocentrism. Is therefore life-centered, nature-centered, and where nature includes both humans and non-humans. The Constitution of India protects not only human rights but also casts an obligation on human beings to protect and preserve a species from becoming extinct. Conservation and protection of environment is an inseparable part of fundamental right to life. According to doctrine of public trust recognized under the Constitution of India, certain common properties such as rivers, seashores, forest and air are held by government in trusteeship for the free and unimpeded use of the general public. The resources like air, sea, water and forest have such a great importance to the people as a whole that it would be totally unjustified to make them a subject of private ownership. The state, as a custodian of the natural resources, has a duty to maintain them not merely for the benefit of the public, but for the best interest of flora and fauna, wildlife, and so on. So it is the duty of the state ultimately, right? These properties are held by the government in trusteeship positions, and fundamental rights are also casting an obligation on us. So this is the entire passage. Now, question number one. Miss G, a student of environmental science, has cultivated a butterfly garden which provides a favorable habitat for butterflies. Miss G has cultivated the butterfly garden so that she could observe and study the different stages of development of butterflies. Observe and study the different stages of development of butterflies. In the given situation, Miss G's approach to cultivation of butterfly is ecocentric. Mr. G is ecocentric. Okay. Now in this, we will just first of all we look at this particular aspect. So we find that this is human centric because she's trying to study. So ecocentric is eliminated. Now we are left with anthropocentric. Mr. G's cultivation of butterfly gardens because it concerns the furtherance of her academic interest, because it concerns the conservation of environment. This is eliminated because anthropocentrism has nothing to do with conservation of environment, and that is why we'll go with A. Now let us also read C, butterfly garden, because it concerns the provision of a favorable habitat of the butterflies, but why she has created the favorable habitat to study for by her own self. So this is eliminated. Mr. G's cultivation is ecocentric understanding of the different stages of development. So different stages of development of butterflies का क्या impact होगा ये भी नहीं mentioned है, तो ये थोड़ा सा slightly out of the road जा रहा है. 97. Which of the following statement is correct? Anthropocentrism and ecocentrism are different approaches to achieving sustainable development. Anthropocentrism focuses on the promotion of non-human interests. And ecocentrism is concerned with the promotion of both human and non-human interest. Anthropocentrism and ecocentrism are different approaches to protection of environment and sustainable development. Now, there are two approaches mentioned, that is very true, but they are telling you that sustainable development goals जो हैं, they have a bias towards anthropocentrism, which means that these two are not the approaches to achieve sustainable development goal. Sustainable development goal, that like we cannot exactly determine this, but yes, I'm confused between D and I'm confused between C. Anthropocentrism are different approaches to achieving sustainable development. No, sustainable development goals are primarily premised on human values, how we need to conserve the climate and the nature for the purpose of human species. So A is eliminated. Ecocentrism is not about sustainable development. Not caring about the future generation of human beings. Ecocentrism is treating the entire system as a whole, right? So A is eliminated because it's not an approach, right? These are the two methods you can say, or you can say two theories of conservation of the earth. So I would go with C. Ecocentrism is concerned with the promotion of both non-human and human interest for the same one reason. What is the trick here? So choose whenever you are confused. Choose an option. Choose an option which is close to the passage. Choose an option which is close to the passage, which means which is either first repeating what is already there, which is either repeating or what is already there, or which is either reflective of what is already there. दोनों चीजें हैं, तो C जो है थोड़ा सा रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है, दैट इज बाय 97 का C, राइट. Now coming to the next aspect of it, question number 98. Question number 98. Which of the following is the basis for the difference between anthropocentrism and ecocentrism? What is the basis for difference? See, this is a legal question. And what are they asking? The inherent value placed on humans and non-humans. The inherent value placed on living things and non-living things. So living things and non-living things कहाँ से आ गया? The relationship between human society and environment. The relationship between non-humans and environment. What is the basis of difference? So anthropocentrism जो है वो human first करता है, right? और इकोसेंट्रिज्म जो होता है वो ह्यूमंस और नॉन ह्यूमंस दोनों को करता है. यही लिखा हुआ था पैसेज में. तो इनहेरेंट वैल्यू बेस्ड ऑन ह्यूमंस एंड नॉन ह्यूमंस, इनहेरेंट वैल्यू बेस्ड ऑन लिविंग थिंग्स. बिटवीन ह्यूमन सोसाइटी एंड एनवायरनमेंट के बारे में तो है ही नहीं. रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन नॉन ह्यूमंस एंड द एनवायरनमेंट के बारे में भी नहीं है. सो अवाइबल ऑप्शन इज 98 का ए. Now coming to the 99th question, which of the following statement is correct with regarding the fundamental right to life under the Constitution of India? It creates a corresponding duty on human beings to protect and preserve non-humans. It creates a corresponding duty on human beings to protect the life of human beings. No, out of context. This was not mentioned in the passage, right? It is inclusive of the right of human beings to utilize non-human resources to the best of their advantage, contradictory to what the passage is talking about, right? It is the inclusive of the right of non-humans to utilize human resources. क्या बकवास है ये? It creates corresponding duty on non-human beings to protect and preserve non-humans. A जो है 99 का A सही जा रहा है because it is written directly here that in the passage that conservation of and protection of environment is an inseparable part of fundamental right to life. Now environment here question में उसको non-human word से replace कर दिया है. So environment is non-human, that's correct. So 99 का A. And then 100. Which of the following statement is incorrect according to the doctrine of public trust? Doctrine of public trust है क्या कि state जो है वो ओन करता है प्रॉपर्टीज़ को, स्टेट करता है ओन प्रॉपर्टीज़ को जो कि कॉमन यूज़ के लिए की जाती हैं, ठीक है। अब थोड़ा सा डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ पब्लिक ट्रस्ट का प्रीलिमिनरी आइडिया रहता है, तो यू विल बी वेरी फास्ट टू एलिमिनेट एंड सेलेक्ट, very fast to eliminate and select. Okay, private ownership of forest is unwarranted. Unwarranted means not guaranteed, or you can say not guaranteed, and sometimes you can say not provided. तो प्राइवेट ओनरशिप तो नहीं होती है, दैट्स करेक्ट, ये तो हो सकता है। फॉरेस्ट आर हेल्ड बाय स्टेट इन फिड्यूशरी कैपेसिटी, इनकरेक्ट बताना है, तो ये भी करेक्ट है। देन स्टेट इज ऑब्लिगेटेड टू मेंटेन फॉरेस्ट एंड their इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू, ये भी करेक्ट है। स्टेट इज ऑब्लिगेटेड टू मेंटेन फॉरेस्ट इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ ह्यूमंस एंड नॉन ह्यूमंस। Now again we are left with a very strategic confusion. ये क्वेश्चन नंबर 100 इतना डिफिकल्ट इजी नहीं है। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट इज इनकरेक्ट डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ पब्लिक ट्रस्ट, राइट। एक मिनट, वारंटेड एंड अनवारंटेड में थोड़ा सा वर्ड देखो, वोकैब, दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम विद क्लैट। ये अनवारंटेड का अगर आपको मीनिंग नहीं पता है तो आप कंफ्यूज हो रहे हो। अनवारंटेड इज नॉट गारंटीड एंड नॉट प्रोवाइडेड, okay, and forests are held by the state in fiduciary capacity, so B is correct. State is obligated to maintain forest for their economic value. Oh, एक मिनट, ऑप्शन सी को ज़रा ध्यान से देखिए। स्टेट इज ऑब्लिगेटेड टू मेंटेन फॉरेस्ट फॉर देयर इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू, for their economic value. No, not for their economic value. Because it is important. Forests are important for life also, for environment also, and all of this, for nature also. That is how state will protect, because it is written in the last line of the passage that the state as a custodian of the natural resources has a duty to maintain them not merely for the benefit of the public but for the interest of both flora, fauna, wildlife and so on. तो दैट इज़ वाई थोड़ा सा कॉमन सेंस लगाया, थोड़ा डिटेल में पढ़ा और सी बोल दिया कि ये स्टेटमेंट क्या है, सरासर इनकरेक्ट है। तो क्या सीखा आपने इस पूरे एक्सरसाइज से? सबसे पहले तो अगेन ये पैसेज को मैंने करीब करीब 6.5 मिनट में किया है, ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज मुझे समझाना था, मुझे मुंह से बोलना था, और उसमें समय लगा, 1.5 मिनट एक्स्ट्रा ऐसे लगा, क्योंकि बीच बीच में मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन भी कर रहा था। लेकिन हमने सीखा इस पर्टिकुलर एक्सरसाइज से ये है कि सबसे पहले आपको उस पैसेज को गो स्लो विद द पैसेज, पैसेज के साथ गो स्लो, एंड पैसेज को लाइक 3/4 ऑफ द टाइम दे दीजिए आप आराम से। तो अगर 5 मिनट में करना है तो आप 3.5 मिनट तक लगभग लगभग पैसेज को दीजिए, ठीक है। उसके बाद जब आप क्वेश्चंस पे आते हैं तो एलिमिनेशन लगाइए, एलिमिनेशन टेक्निक लगाइए बहुत तेज़ी से। इन्फ्रेंस बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस अगर लॉ में आ जाए, एलिमिनेशन टेक्निक, विच मीन्स व्हाट इज नॉट रिटन इन द पैसेज, what is not written in the passage, do not apply that logic, and do not mark such an option. ये थंब रूल है इन्फ्रेंस बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस को लीगल में सॉल्व करने के लिए। एलिमिनेशन टेक्निक, ऐसी चीज़ों को हटा दीजिए जो पैसेज में नहीं दिए हुए हैं। ऑल्सो व्हेन कंफ्यूज्ड, let's say between, when you are confused between, let's say, two options, okay, then what is the trick, how to select one? So this is like हर्षवर्धन त्रिपाठी का ब्रह्मास्त्र है ये। पहला, लेंदियर ऑप्शन, लेंदियर ऑप्शन। सबसे पहले तो देखिए लेंदियर ऑप्शन कौन सा है, उसको क्या करेंगे, सेलेक्ट करेंगे। फिर सेकंड क्वेश्चन लेंगे, सेकंड क्वेश्चन है रीड इट, एंड इट मस्ट बी वेरी मच रिफ्लेक्टिव of the context of the passage. It must be reflective of the context of the passage. यानी कि अगर लेंदियर ऑप्शन में ये कॉन्टेक्स्ट है तो 110% वो सही है। अगर लेंदियर ऑप्शन लिया आपने, लेंदियर ऑप्शन लिया एंड लेट से आपको रीड करने के बाद कॉन्टेक्स्ट नहीं समझ में आया, तो फिर तीसरा कैच लगाएंगे। तीसरा कैच कैसे लगाएंगे? फाइंड दैट ऑप्शन, find that option which is repetition of passage, which is repetition of passage. And remember at last that vocabulary is the only challenge. Vocabulary is the only challenge after time. Remember all of these tricks. These are going to help you in your CLAT paper when you have to save a lot of time, right? So that is how you save time. And these are the tricks that are going to work in the new paper. And most of the faculties that I have come across are afraid to give you these tricks because they fear that it might not work. But I can tell you from my experience of previous 4 5 years of teaching CLAT aspirants, and I have taught like from CLAT 2020 itself, it's CLAT 2023, like 4 batches have entirely gone. My students are there in NLSIU and Dharam Shastra National University, Ram Manohar Lohia, and NLU Delhi. So I can tell you this with a sense of conviction that this particular technique will not work in any other examination, but it will definitely work in your CLAT paper because I understand CLAT consortium and they they want quick solvers. They don't want people with good legal knowledge. No, they do want people with good temperament to solve a complex situation in a very short duration of time. I think that's the demand of the profession as well. So I hope this particular exercise has basically told you, I tried to tell you in fact that inference-based questions are there in CLAT. As you can say in legal section also, you might not expect a situation-based question only. You might expect questions like this, which are asking you to read between the lines. एंड आपको ये क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग से बिल्कुल भी अलग नहीं समझ में आएगा, सीआर जैसा ही है. सो द सेकेंड पार्ट इज कि मेरे चैनल पे ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 90% व्यूवर्स हैवंट सब्सक्राइब्ड टू द चैनल. दैट इज व्हाट द यूट्यूब ऑलवेज टेल्स मी. So please subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on the interesting information that I share with you all. I'll see you guys in the next.